In the heart of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Galactic Council convened for an emergency session. Representatives from a multitude of spacefaring civilizations filled the grand amphitheater, their murmurs echoing off the crystalline walls. At the center podium stood Councillor Xyloth, a tall, slender being with luminous silver skin. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, Xyloth began, her melodic voice commanding attention. We gather here today to discuss a matter of utmost importance, the humans of Earth. A wave of reactions rippled through the gathered aliens. Some scoffed, while others exchanged worried glances. The humans, Xyloth continued, are a young species, having only recently achieved interstellar travel. Yet their progress has been alarmingly swift. Our observers report that human technology and scientific understanding are advancing at an unprecedented rate. Councillor Groknak, a burly, reptilian alien, stood up. Why should we concern ourselves with these primitives? He growled. They are centuries behind the least of us. Xyloth fixed Groknak with a piercing gaze. Do not underestimate them, Councillor. The humans possess a rare combination of ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination. Given time, they could become a formidable force in the galaxy. Murmurs of agreement mingled with dissenting grumbles. Xyloth raised a slender hand, and the chamber fell silent once more. In light of this potential threat, the Council proposes a decree. No member civilization shall initiate contact or engage in conflict with the humans of Earth. We must allow them to develop independently, without outside influence or interference. The debate that followed was fierce, with arguments for and against the proposed decree. Some saw the wisdom in caution, while others viewed the restriction as an insult to their civilization's might. In the end, the decree passed by a narrow margin. The Galactic Council had spoken. The humans of Earth were to be left alone. Whether this decision would prove prudent or short-sighted remained to be seen. As the council members dispersed, Xyloth couldn't shake a sense of foreboding. Deep down, she feared that not all would heed the council's warning. And if the humans were underestimated, the consequences could be dire indeed. Little did the Galactic Council know, their deliberations had not gone unnoticed. On the fringes of the galaxy, the ruthless Vort Empire had been monitoring the proceedings with keen interest, and Emperor Zorgax, ruler of the Vort, had no intention of letting the Council's decree stand in the way of his ambitions. The Vort Empire disregards the warning. Emperor Zorgax lounged on his obsidian throne, his scaled visage twisted into a sneer as he reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The Galactic Council's decree regarding Earth had not gone unnoticed by the Vort Empire, but Zorgax had no intention of heeding their warning. These council fools, Zorgax hissed, his forked tongue flicking out in contempt. They would have us cower before a primitive species, denying us the spoils of conquest. General Krax, the Emperor's most trusted military advisor, stepped forward. My lord, our spies have gathered extensive data on the humans. While they show potential, their technology and military capabilities are laughably inferior to our own. Zorgax leaned forward, his crimson eyes glinting with malice. Excellent. The Council's cowardice has presented us with a golden opportunity. Earth's resources will be ours for the taking. The Emperor rose to his full height, towering over his assembled court. Prepare the invasion fleet. We strike at the heart of human civilization. Let the galaxy witness the might of the Vort Empire. As the court dispersed to carry out their Emperor's commands, Zorgax's thoughts turned to the future. With Earth under his control, the Vort Empire would have a new base from which to launch further conquests. The Galactic Council would learn the folly of standing in his way. Deep in the bowels of the Vort's capital ship, a team of spies pored over the data they had gathered on Earth. Images of human cities, military installations, and technological marvels flickered across holographic displays. Zex, the lead spy, studied the information with a critical eye. While the humans had made impressive strides in a short time, their capabilities paled in comparison to the Vort's advanced weaponry and shielding technology. The Emperor is right. Zex concluded, addressing his team. The humans will be no match for our forces. Their primitive defenses will crumble before the might of our armada. The spies compiled their findings into a comprehensive report detailing the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of human society. With this information in hand, the Vort invasion force would be unstoppable. As the massive Vort fleet assembled on the outskirts of the solar system, Emperor Zorgax's anticipation grew. Soon, Earth would be his, and the Galactic Council would rue the day they dared to challenge the Vort Empire. Humans detect the Vort invasion force. On Earth, life carried on as usual, with humans blissfully unaware of the impending threat from beyond the stars. But deep within the bowels of the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, an alarm suddenly pierced the air. Dr. Ava Tanaka, the GDI's leading xenolinguist and communications expert, rushed into the command center. "What's happening?" she demanded, her heart racing. General Marcus Graves, a grizzled veteran of Earth's military, stood before a massive holographic display. "Our deep space sensors have detected a massive fleet amassing just beyond the solar system," he explained, his brow furrowed with concern. "The energy signatures are unlike anything we've ever seen." Ava's eyes widened as she studied the data streaming across the screens. "This can't be a coincidence," she murmured. "First, the message from the Galactic Council, and now this." Just days earlier, the GDI had intercepted a garbled transmission from an unknown source. Iva had worked tirelessly to decode the message, eventually revealing a dire warning from a group calling themselves the Galactic Council. The message spoke of a ruthless empire known as the Vort, who had set their sights on Earth. General Graves nodded grimly. "It seems our alien friends were right. We're about to face the fight of our lives." News of the impending invasion spread like wildfire, throwing the world into a state of panic. Global leaders convened emergency meetings, desperately seeking a way to defend against the alien threat. Meanwhile, Ava and her team raced against the clock to gather more information on the Vort. They scoured the message from the Galactic Council, searching for any clues that might give them an edge. As they worked, a sudden realization dawned on Ava. The message mentioned a weakness in the Vort's communication systems. She exclaimed, her eyes alight with hope. "If we can find a way to exploit that, we might stand a chance." General Graves mobilized Earth's forces, recalling every available soldier and weapon. The planet's defenses were placed on high alert, with anti-aircraft batteries and orbital defense platforms ready to repel the invaders. In cities across the globe, civilians took shelter in underground bunkers, while brave men and women donned uniforms and prepared to fight for their planet's survival. As the Vort fleet drew ever closer, Earth braced itself for the battle to come. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. Iva and her team worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data they could glean about the Vort's technology. If they could find a way to disrupt the aliens' communications, it could give Earth's defenders the edge they so desperately needed. The world held its breath as the first Vort ships entered the solar system, their hulking forms blotting out the stars. The invasion had begun, and Earth's greatest test lay ahead. Humans detect the Vort invasion force. On Earth, life carried on as usual, with humans blissfully unaware of the impending threat from beyond the stars. But deep within the bowels of the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, an alarm suddenly pierced the air. Dr. Ava Tanaka, the GDI's leading xenolinguist and communications expert, rushed into the command center. "What's happening?" she demanded, her heart racing. General Marcus Graves, a grizzled veteran of Earth's military, stood before a massive holographic display. "Our deep space sensors have detected a massive fleet amassing just beyond the solar system," he explained, his brow furrowed with concern. "The energy signatures are unlike anything we've ever seen." Ava's eyes widened as she studied the data streaming across the screens. "This can't be a coincidence," she murmured. First, the message from the Galactic Council, and now this. Just days earlier, The GDI had intercepted a garbled transmission from an unknown source. Ava had worked tirelessly to decode the message, eventually revealing a dire warning from a group calling themselves the Galactic Council. The message spoke of a ruthless empire known as the Vort, who had set their sights on Earth. General Graves nodded grimly. It seems our alien friends were right. We're about to face the fight of our lives. News of the impending invasion spread like wildfire, throwing the world into a state of panic. Global leaders convened emergency meetings, desperately seeking a way to defend against the alien threat. Meanwhile, Ava and her team raced against the clock to gather more information on the Vort. They scoured the message from the Galactic Council, searching for any clues that might give them an edge. As they worked, a sudden realization dawned on Ava. The message mentioned a weakness in the Vort's communication systems. She exclaimed, her eyes alight with hope. If we can find a way to exploit that, we might stand a chance. General Graves mobilized Earth's forces, recalling every available soldier and weapon. The planet's defenses were placed on high alert, with anti-aircraft batteries and orbital defense platforms ready to repel the invaders. In cities across the globe, civilians took shelter in underground bunkers, while brave men and women donned uniforms and prepared to fight for their planet's survival. As the Vort fleet drew ever closer, Earth braced itself for the battle to come. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. Ava and her team worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data they could glean about the Vort's technology. If they could find a way to disrupt the aliens' communications, it could give Earth's defenders the edge they so desperately needed. The world held its breath as the first Vort ships entered the solar system, their hulking forms blotting out the stars. The invasion had begun, and Earth's greatest test lay ahead. The Vort invasion begins. The skies above Earth's major cities darkened as the Vort armada descended from the heavens. Massive, angular ships, bristling with advanced weaponry, cast ominous shadows over the planet's surface. In the heart of New York City, Ava Tanaka watched in horror as the first wave of orbital bombardment rained down upon the metropolis. Buildings crumbled, and fires erupted as the alien weaponry tore through concrete and steel like paper. "This is it," General Graves said, his voice grim over the comlink. "All units, engage the enemy. We fight for our world, our homes, and our very survival." Earth's defenses sprang into action, with fighter jets screaming through the skies to meet the Vort attack ships head-on. Surface-to-air missiles streaked towards the alien craft, exploding in brilliant flashes of light. But the Vort technology was beyond anything Earth had ever faced. Their ships' advanced shielding shrugged off the human weapons, while their own energy beams sliced through Earth's fighters like a scythe through wheat. On the ground, Vort invasion pods rained down, disgorging hordes of heavily armed alien soldiers. The streets of cities worldwide became battlegrounds, with human defenders fighting desperately to hold back the relentless Vort advance. Ava and her team worked frantically to analyze the Vort's communication systems, seeking any weakness they could exploit. "There," Ava exclaimed, pointing to a pulsing signal on her display. "That's the key to their coordination. If we can disrupt that signal, we might be able to throw them into disarray." General Graves nodded, his face grim. "Do it. We need every advantage we can get." As the battle raged, stories of human bravery and ingenuity began to emerge. In the ruins of London, a small unit of human soldiers managed to lure a group of Vort infantry into a trap, using the city's ancient sewer system to outflank and ambush the aliens. In the skies above Tokyo, a daring pilot named Akira Tanaka, Ava's brother, single-handedly took on a squadron of Vort fighters. Through skill and sheer determination, he managed to shoot down 3 of the alien craft before his own jet was destroyed, buying precious time for the city's defenders. These small victories, however, were overshadowed by the relentless Vort onslaught. The aliens' superior numbers and technology allowed them to push deeper into human territory, leaving devastation in their wake. As the situation grew increasingly dire, Ava and her team raced to complete their work on the Vort communication disruption device. It was a desperate gamble, but it might be humanity's last hope. With trembling hands, Ava activated the device, sending a pulse of energy rippling through the Earth's atmosphere. For a moment, the world held its breath, waiting to see if their efforts had been in vain. Then, reports began to flood in from across the globe. The Vort's coordination had faltered, their formations breaking apart as confusion spread through their ranks. Earth's defenders seized the opportunity, striking back at the disoriented aliens with renewed ferocity. It was a turning point in the battle, but the war was far from over. The Vort still possessed a vast technological and numerical advantage, and they would not give up easily. As the fighting raged on, Ava knew that Earth's survival would depend on more than just technological wizardry. It would take the courage, determination, and ingenuity of every human on the planet to drive the invaders back and secure a future for their species. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The tide turns. In the chaos of the Vort invasion, Ava Tanaka and her team of scientists worked tirelessly to refine their communication disruption technology. The initial success of their device had bought Earth's defenders precious time, but they knew it wouldn't be long before the Vort adapted. "We need to strike at the heart of their command structure," Ava said, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Vort fleet. "If we can disrupt their leadership, we might be able to throw their entire invasion into disarray." General Graves nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. "The Vort Emperor's flagship," he murmured. "That's our target, but it won't be easy to reach." Ava's gaze hardened with determination. "Leave that to me. I have a plan." As Earth's forces fought to hold the line against the Vort onslaught, Ava assembled a strike team of the planet's most skilled warriors and infiltrators. Among them was her brother, Akira, the ace pilot who had already proven his mettle against the alien invaders. The plan was audacious. Using a captured Vort transport ship, Ava and her team would infiltrate the Emperor's flagship and sabotage its communication systems from within. It was a mission from which they might not return, but the fate of Earth hung in the balance. As the strike team prepared for their daring assault, Earth's defenders fought with renewed vigor. In the ruins of Paris, a group of human engineers managed to hack into a downed Vort assault walker, turning its weapons against its former masters. In the deserts of Africa, a unit of human snipers used their knowledge of the terrain to lure Vort patrols into ambushes, whittling down the alien forces one by one. These small victories bought Ava and her team the time they needed. Under cover of a ferocious space battle, they slipped aboard the Vort flagship, their disguised transport ship blending in with the chaos. Once inside, they made their way through the labyrinthine corridors of the alien vessel, guided by the intelligence Ava had gathered on Vort ship design. They planted explosives at key junctures, ready to cripple the ship's communication systems on Ava's signal. But as they neared their final objective, they were confronted by the one foe they had hoped to avoid: Emperor Zorgax himself. The Vort leader towered over the humans, his scaled features twisted into a sneer of contempt. "Pitiful creatures," he hissed. "Did you truly believe you could challenge the might of the Vort Empire?" Ava stepped forward, her eyes blazing with defiance. "We're not here to challenge you, Zorgax. We're here to end you." With a roar of fury, the Emperor lunged at Ava, his clawed hands outstretched, but Akira was faster, throwing himself between his sister and the alien tyrant. The two warriors clashed in a furious battle, human agility pitted against Vort strength. As they fought, Ava raced to the ship's central control room, her team close behind. They barricaded themselves inside, working frantically to hack into the Vort systems and broadcast their disruption signal across the entire invasion fleet. Just as Zorgax seemed poised to overwhelm Akira, Ava's voice crackled over the comlink. "Now," she shouted. Akira triggered the explosives, sending a chain reaction of destruction rippling through the flagship. At the same time, Ava unleashed her disruption signal, amplified by the Vort's own communication network. Across the battlefield, Vort ships suddenly veered off course, their crews thrown into confusion as their systems went haywire. Earth's forces seized the advantage, striking hard at the disoriented invaders. Aboard the flagship, Zorgax let out a howl of rage as he realized the extent of the human sabotage. But before he could rally his forces, Akira dealt him a final, crushing blow. As the Emperor fell, the Vort invasion crumbled. Deprived of their leader and their coordination, the alien forces fell into disarray, easy prey for Earth's emboldened defenders. Against all odds, the tide had turned. Earth had proven that the Galactic Council's warnings about human potential were not to be taken lightly. But even as the planet celebrated its hard-won victory, Ava knew that this was only the beginning. The Vort had been just one of many potential threats lurking in the vastness of space. If humanity was to survive and thrive in the galactic community, they would need to be ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, and with the ingenuity, courage, and determination they had shown in the face of the Vort invasion, Ava had no doubt that they would rise to meet those challenges head-on. As the last of the Vort forces fled Earth's solar system, a stunned silence fell across the galaxy. The news of humanity's victory spread like wildfire, reaching even the most distant corners of the universe. On Earth, the mood was one of jubilation, tempered by the sobering realization of the challenges that lay ahead. The Vort invasion had left the planet's cities in ruins, its populations decimated. But even in the face of such devastation, the human spirit remained unbroken. Ava Tanaka, now hailed as a hero of the resistance, found herself at the center of a global effort to rebuild and fortify Earth's defenses. Working alongside her brother Akira and a team of the planet's brightest minds, she set about the task of reverse engineering the Vort technology they had captured during the war. "We can't afford to be caught unprepared again," Ava said, her gaze fixed on the stars above. "The Vort were just one threat among many. We must be ready for whatever else the universe has in store for us." As Earth began to rebuild, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session to discuss the implications of humanity's victory. The news of the Vort Empire's defeat had sent shockwaves through the galactic community, with many species realizing that they had grossly underestimated the potential of this upstart race. "The humans have proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with," Councillor Zodloff said, her tone a mix of admiration and concern. "Their ingenuity and adaptability are unlike anything we have seen before." Other council members nodded in agreement, their expressions ranging from awe to apprehension. Some argued that humanity should be invited to join the council, their perspectives and abilities a valuable addition to the galactic community. Others, however, urged caution, fearing that humanity's rapid ascent could destabilize the delicate balance of power that had held sway for eons. As the debates raged on, Earth's leaders found themselves inundated with messages from across the galaxy. Some were congratulatory, praising humanity's courage and tenacity in the face of overwhelming odds. Others were more cautious, with alien species seeking to establish diplomatic ties and trade agreements with this new power on the galactic stage. Ava and her team worked tirelessly to navigate this new landscape, forging alliances with friendly species and working to establish Earth as a key player in the galactic community. It was a daunting task, but one that they embraced with the same determination and ingenuity that had seen them through the Vort invasion. As she stood before the council, addressing the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, Ava couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought humanity to this moment. "We stand here today as equals," she said, her voice ringing clear and strong. "Not because of our military might or our technological prowess, but because of the qualities that define us as a species, our resilience, our adaptability, and our unbreakable spirit." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the gathered aliens, taking in their myriad forms and features. "Together, we can build a future of peace and prosperity for all the peoples of the galaxy. A future in which the warnings of the past are heeded, and the potential of every species is celebrated and nurtured." As the council chamber erupted in applause, Ava felt a sense of hope and possibility that transcended the boundaries of species and space. The road ahead would not be easy, but with the strength and determination of humanity at her back, she knew that anything was possible. And so, the story of humanity's ascent to the galactic stage came to a close, not with a whimper, but with a resounding declaration of the indomitable human spirit. The galaxy would never be the same, and the universe would forever remember the day that the warnings about Earth were ignored, and the true potential of humanity was unleashed upon the stars.